there is a strange and persistent echo that lives only in the quiet. It waits for you. It waits until the noise of the day has finally faded, until the screens are dark and the house is still. It waits for that specific moment when your head meets the pillow, when the world outside releases its claim on your attention, and you are left alone with the vast, quiet space of your own mind. And in that quiet, it begins. A memory, uninvited, drifts up from the depths. It might be from 5 years ago, or 20, or even more. It's a moment where you said the wrong thing, or failed to say the right one. A time you acted out of fear, or ignorance, or a pain you didn't yet understand. And as the scene plays out in your mind's eye, a familiar feeling follows close behind. It's a hot flush of shame that travels from your chest to your face, a tightening in your stomach, a clenching in your jaw. It's the full body cringe of self-judgment, a silent, internal recoil from a version of yourself you wish you could forget. This feeling is heavy. It carries the weight of years of self-reproach, the accumulated burden of being your own harshest critic. It whispers that you should have known better, that you are somehow uniquely flawed for what you did or did not do. It's a lonely feeling, one that thrives in the isolation of the late night hours, convincing you that you are the only one who lies awake, haunted by the ghosts of your own past. What if, for tonight, we chose not to fight this echo? What if we simply acknowledged its presence, not as an enemy to be silenced, but as a signal pointing towards something that needs healing? Before we begin this journey inward, let's take just a quick moment to ground ourselves in this present space. Wherever you are, just take a slow, easy breath. Before we begin, just a quick moment. Write in the comments which part of this world you're listening from right now, and what time it is where you are. I'm curious, are you listening in the quiet of late night, or perhaps in the early morning hours when sleep hasn't come yet? Just leave a word or two, and then settle in. Because this time right now, is entirely yours. Now, let your body soften. Let your shoulders release their grip. Let the space behind your eyes grow soft and quiet. You have arrived here, in this moment, carrying the entire story of your life. Every triumph, every stumble, every lesson learned the hard way. And within that story, there is a character who often gets overlooked, who is rarely treated with kindness. That character is your younger self, the one who made the choices you now regret, the one who is navigating the world with incomplete maps and a heart that was still learning how to protect itself. For so long, perhaps, the relationship you've had with this version of you has been one of judgment, of contempt, or even of quiet shame. You look back and see the mistake, but you forget to see the person. You see the action, but you forget the context, the pain they were in, the limited tools they had, the pressures they faced that you can now only barely recall. The central question we will explore together tonight is a gentle one. What would happen if you offered that younger you the one thing they have always needed, not from the world, but from you? What would happen if you extended mercy? Not absolution, not permission, not even forgiveness in the way we usually think of it. Just mercy. The simple, profound act of compassion in the face of suffering. The quiet understanding that they were doing the very best they could with what they knew and who they were at the time. Mercy is the act of laying down the stone you have been carrying, the one you have used to punish a person who doesn't even exist anymore. because that person grew, that person learned, that person endured, and their endurance, their mistakes, and their survival are precisely what allowed you to become the person you are today, listening to this right now. The wisdom you use to judge them is the very wisdom they earned for you. Think about that for a moment. The perspective you have now was paid for by their experience. So tonight, we are not going to dissect the past. We are not going to analyze or justify or excuse. Instead, we are going to do something much simpler and far more powerful. We are going to set a single, clear intention. Let this intention be a soft whisper in your heart, a gentle promise you make to yourself for the duration of this time together. Let your intention be simply this: to meet your younger self with mercy, to approach the memories that cause you to cringe, not with a shield of judgment, but with an open hand of understanding, to see the frightened child beneath the foolish act, to feel the lonely heart behind the clumsy words. This is not about changing the past. The past is stone. It cannot be changed. This is about changing your relationship to the past so that it no longer has the power to disturb your present peace. Imagine, for a moment, that your past self is like a child lost in a dark wood. They are holding a small, flickering candle, trying to find their way. They stumble. They take wrong turns. They are scared. The you of today is standing at the edge of that same wood, in the bright light of dawn, holding a powerful lantern. For years, perhaps you've been shouting into the woods, scolding that child for getting lost, for not being faster, for not being smarter. But it has never helped. The child just feels more lost, more ashamed. Tonight, we will do something different. We will use the light of our lantern, the light of our current wisdom and compassion, not to expose their flaws, but to illuminate a gentle path for them to finally come home. This journey requires nothing from you but a willingness to be gentle, a willingness to suspend the inner judge just for a little while and allow a different voice to be heard, the voice of the gentle guardian, the wise elder, the loving presence that you have become. As you settle deeper into comfort, letting the rhythm of your breath be your anchor, allow this intention to settle into your body. Feel it in the softening of your muscles, in the slowing of your heart rate. An intention to offer mercy, an intention to make peace, an intention to come home to yourself, whole and complete. The ache of looking back is simply a call for compassion. It is the echo of an unhealed part of you asking finally to be seen with kindness. And tonight, we will answer that call. We will extend the profound and healing gift of mercy, and in doing so, create the deep, restorative peace that allows for the most healing sleep. There is nothing else you need to do right now. Simply rest, simply breathe, and be willing to begin. So let us begin here, in this quiet and safe space you have created for yourself. With your intention set to offer mercy, the first step is not to rush toward your past, but to first become acquainted with the one who has been guarding it so fiercely. As you lie here, breathing gently, simply allow your awareness to turn inward. We are going to listen, not with our ears, but with our attention. See if you can begin to notice a certain voice within you. It is a familiar voice, isn't it? It is the voice of your inner judge. For now, do not try to argue with it. Do not try to silence it or push it away. Our only task is to witness it, as if we were watching clouds drift across the sky. You are the sky, And this voice is just one of the many clouds passing through. Notice its tone. Is it sharp? Is it cold? Does it sound like a particular person from your past? Or is it a version of your own voice, laced with disappointment? Just observe. This voice has been with you for a very long time, and for all its harshness, it has a story. Here is a gentle truth to consider. This inner judge is not your enemy. It is a part of you that is deeply, profoundly afraid. It is a primitive protector, a misguided guardian that formed long ago, likely in your childhood, with one single mission: to keep you safe. It believes that if it can criticize you first, before anyone else can, it can spare you the pain of external judgment or rejection. It thinks that if it replays your mistakes on a loop, relentlessly pointing out every flaw, it can force you to learn, to be better, to never make that same mistake again and risk being hurt or abandoned. It's like a guard dog that has learned to bark ferociously at everything, friend and foe alike, believing that this is the only way to protect the home. It doesn't know a gentler way. Its methods are clumsy and they cause you pain, but its underlying intention comes from a place of fear, a desperate attempt to control the world so that you will never be vulnerable again. When you can see the judge not as a malicious force, but as a frightened and outdated part of your own psyche, a little space opens up. You don't have to believe its words. You can simply notice them with a kind of gentle curiosity. What are the specific words it uses? Let's just listen for a moment. Does it say things like, "You're so stupid for doing that"? Or, "Why can't you ever get it right"? Perhaps its language is one of deep regret. "If only you had done this instead." Or, "You ruined everything." It might speak in absolutes. "You always mess things up." Or, "You'll never change." Don't get lost in the story behind the words. Just notice the words themselves, like catching leaves as they fall from a tree. See them for what they are, not facts, but old, worn-out recordings playing from a place of fear. These phrases have likely been on repeat for years, perhaps decades. They are grooves worn deep into your neural pathways, but they are not the fundamental truth of who you are. They are just a habit of thought. And as you witness these words, notice what they bring with them. Notice the wave of feeling that follows in their wake. Can you name it? Often, the primary feeling is shame. That hot, sinking feeling of being exposed, of being fundamentally flawed. Shame is different from guilt. Guilt says, "I did something bad." Shame says, "I am bad." It's a feeling that makes you want to hide, to become small, to disappear. Alongside shame, there might be contempt, a cold, hard feeling of disgust directed at that younger version of yourself. It is a feeling that creates a deep separation within you, splitting you into the good self who is judging and the bad self who is being judged. And of course, there is regret, that heavy, sorrowful ache for a past you cannot change, a longing for a different choice, a different outcome. Allow yourself to acknowledge these feelings without being consumed by them. See them rise and fall, just as you see the thoughts. They are powerful, yes, but they are also temporary weather patterns moving through the vast sky of your awareness. Now, let's bring our awareness even deeper, into the body. Because this judgment is not just a mental or emotional experience, it is a physical one. It carries a real, tangible weight. Let your attention travel gently through your body now, as if you are shining a soft light into every corner. Where does the feeling of self-judgment live in you? For many of us, it settles in the shoulders and the neck. Feel that area now. Is there a tightness there? A tension, as if you are braced for a blow or carrying an invisible burden? This is the physical manifestation of holding onto old regrets. Let your awareness drift down into your chest, into the space around your heart. Does it feel open and warm, or does it feel tight, constricted, guarded? Sometimes we build an energetic wall around our heart to protect it from our own judgment. We armor ourselves against our own inner critic. Now, bring your focus to your stomach, your solar plexus. This is often where we feel shame and fear. Is there a knot there, a hollow feeling, or a churning anxiety? This is the gut-level impact of self-reproach. Perhaps you feel it in your jaw, a subtle clenching that has become so normal you barely notice it anymore. Or in your hands, which may be curled into fists, ready to fight a battle that exists only within you. There is no need to change or fix any of this. The only task right now is to feel it, to acknowledge, perhaps for the first time, the profound physical cost of this inner conflict. This weight you feel, this tension, this barrier around your heart, this is the price you have paid for believing the judge's story. By simply feeling it, by bearing witness to it with gentle acceptance, you are already beginning the process of loosening its grip. You are saying, I see this. I feel this. I acknowledge the burden I've been carrying. And in this simple act of witnessing, without resistance, you create the first crack of light, the first possibility of setting it all down. For now, just rest in this awareness. You are the observer, watching the judge, feeling the weight, and holding it all in a space of quiet, non-judgmental presence. This is the beginning of peace. Having witnessed the judge and felt the weight of its presence in your body, we can now begin to gently turn our attention toward the one who has been judged for so long. This requires a subtle but profound shift in perspective. Our minds, when they look back, have a habit of zooming in on the mistake, the action, the moment of failure. We replay the scene of the car crash, not the long, winding road that led to it. Tonight, we are going to do something different. We are going to consciously travel back in time, but our destination is not the mistake itself. Our destination is the person who made it. Allow a memory to surface, one that your inner judge often uses as evidence against you. It doesn't have to be the biggest or the most painful one, just one that feels accessible tonight. Let the scene begin to form, but instead of focusing on what happened, I want you to focus on who you were then. See that younger version of yourself. See them not as a character in a shameful story, but as a living, breathing human being. How old were they? See their face. Look into their eyes. What do you see there? Was there fear? Confusion? A desperate longing to be loved or accepted? See the way they held themselves, the clothes they were wearing, the world they were living in. Now, we are going to gently set aside our current knowledge and perspective. This is crucial. The person you are now, with all of your accumulated wisdom and life experience, did not exist back then. So, let's travel back into the context of their world. What did that younger you actually know at that moment in time? Not what you think they should have known, but what did they genuinely understand about life, about relationships, about consequences? Be honest and compassionate in your assessment. Were their views on the world simpler, more black and white? Were they operating from a set of beliefs they had inherited from their family or society? Beliefs they had not yet had the chance to question or dismantle. Consider the emotional tools they had at their disposal. When you face a difficult situation today, you might have tools like self-awareness, the ability to regulate your emotions, communication skills, or the wisdom to seek support. Did that younger you have those tools? Or was their toolbox much smaller, much lighter? Perhaps their only tools were things like avoidance, or anger, or people-pleasing, or shutting down. These are not character flaws. They are primitive survival strategies we all use when we don't have more sophisticated ones. They were likely doing the best they could with the very limited set of tools they had been given up to that point. They couldn't use a tool they hadn't yet acquired. To judge them for this is like scolding a child for not being able to solve an algebra problem when they have only been taught to count. And most importantly, what pain were they in? This is a question the inner judge never asks. The judge sees the action, not the wound from which the action grew. But human beings rarely act out of malice. We almost always act out of our unmet needs and our unhealed pain. So, look at that younger self again, with eyes of compassion. Were they feeling lonely? Were they carrying the weight of a recent heartbreak or a deep disappointment? Were they terrified of being rejected or abandoned? Were they living with a constant low-grade anxiety that they didn't have the words to name? Perhaps they were so disconnected from their own feelings that they were simply numb, moving through the world on autopilot, trying to feel something, anything at all. The behavior you cringe at now might have been a clumsy attempt to soothe the pain they couldn't bear, or a misguided effort to get a need met that felt life or death at the time. It wasn't the best strategy, you know that now, but it might have been the only one they could think of in that moment of desperation. Let's use an analogy here. Imagine that younger you was trying to navigate through a vast dark forest at midnight, holding only a single flickering candle. The flame is small, casting shadows that twist and dance, making it hard to tell the difference between a threat and a friend, a clear path and a dead end. They are cold, they are tired, and they are scared. With that tiny, wavering light, they are doing their absolute best to find their way through. Now, you, the person you are today, are looking back at them from a brightly lit watchtower high above the forest. From your vantage point, with your powerful searchlight of wisdom and experience, you can see the whole map. You can see the easy path they missed by just a few feet. You can see the dead end they stumbled into. You can see the clearing that was just beyond the next row of trees. And for years, you may have been shouting down from your tower, "Not that way, you fool. Can't you see? It's so obvious." But from their perspective, on the forest floor, with only that flickering candle flame, it wasn't obvious at all. All they could see was the next few inches in front of them. All they could feel was the pressing darkness. Seeing this younger you, not as a failure, but as someone navigating darkness with a flickering candle, changes everything. It shifts the entire dynamic from judgment to compassion. You stop seeing a flawed person who should have known better, and you start seeing a courageous survivor who did the best they could with the light they had. They kept the candle lit. They kept walking, even when they were lost. They didn't give up. And their stumbling, winding, mistake-filled journey through that dark forest is precisely what led them, and ultimately you, out into the clearing where you now stand. You are not separate from them. You are the result of their resilience. Every step they took, every wrong turn, was a necessary part of the journey to becoming the person who can now look back with the wisdom to see the whole map. Hold this image in your heart for a moment. That brave, confused, and determined person in the dark. Can you feel a softening toward them? A flicker of understanding? A touch of mercy? That is where healing begins. As we hold this image of our younger self navigating a dark forest with a flickering candle, let us now gently deepen our inquiry. We have acknowledged the context they were in, what they knew, the tools they had, the immediate pain they were feeling. Now, we will look even deeper, beneath the surface of that moment, to the history they were carrying. Because that younger you did not arrive in that difficult moment as a blank slate. They arrived carrying a whole lifetime of experiences, a collection of invisible wounds and unmet needs that shaped their perceptions and drove their actions. To truly understand them, we must understand the scars they carried. Let your awareness soften and expand like a gentle mist, and allow yourself to remember the emotional landscape of their life leading up to that point. Think about the wounds that younger self was acting from. These are the deeper currents that were pulling them in directions they may not have consciously understood. Perhaps they carried the wound of not feeling seen or heard in their childhood, a deep-seated belief that their needs and feelings didn't matter, which led them to either shout for attention in clumsy ways or to silence their own voice entirely, leading to choices that were not in their own best interest. Maybe they carried the wound of abandonment, a primal fear of being left alone that made them cling too tightly in relationships, or push people away before they could be rejected. This fear can be a powerful motivator, causing a person to betray their own values just to maintain a connection, any connection, because the prospect of being alone feels like a threat to their very survival. Or perhaps the wound was one of inadequacy, a persistent feeling of not being good enough that was instilled in them through criticism or comparison. This kind of wound can create a relentless drive to prove one's worth, leading to perfectionism, workaholism, or a tendency to make choices designed to win external approval rather than to honor their own inner truth. Look with gentle eyes at that person you were. Can you identify the specific ache they were carrying? The old hurt that was still tender to the touch? The belief about themselves or the world that was casting a long shadow over their choices? When we act from a place of wounding, our vision is clouded. It's like trying to drive a car with a cracked and dirty windshield. We can't see the road clearly. We misjudge distances, we mistake shadows for obstacles, and we react to things that aren't really there. The choices that younger you made, the ones you now judge so harshly, may have seemed like the only logical or possible choices through the distorted lens of their unhealed hurts. They weren't seeing the world as it was. They were seeing the world as their wounds had taught them it was. This is not an excuse. It is an explanation. It is a vital piece of the context that allows for compassion. We are not absolving the action. We are understanding the actor. And in that understanding, the hard shell of judgment begins to soften, revealing the tender humanity underneath. This leads us to a profound and liberating realization. They couldn't give what they didn't have, and they couldn't know what they hadn't yet learned. Think about that for a moment. If their own emotional well was dry, how could they have offered a drink of patience or wisdom to someone else? If they had never been taught how to love and accept themselves, how could they have possibly known how to create healthy, loving boundaries in their relationships? If they had never experienced true emotional safety, how could they have been expected to create it for others, or even for themselves? We often judge our past selves against a standard of emotional maturity and self-awareness that they simply had not yet attained. We expect them to have had the emotional resources of a 40-year-old when they were only 20. We expect them to have had the perspective that comes from surviving heartbreak when they were in the very midst of their first one. It is a fundamental truth of human development. We can only act from our current level of consciousness. That younger you was operating from their level of consciousness at the time. They were giving all they had to give. They were using all the knowledge they had managed to gather. And if it wasn't enough, if it led to mistakes and pain, that is not a sign of their inherent badness. It is simply a sign that they were still on the journey of learning. They were a student in the classroom of life, and sometimes students get the answers wrong. That's how learning happens. The mistakes you cringe at were not failures. They were lessons. They were the curriculum that was required to evolve you into the wiser person you are today. Without those painful lessons, you would not possess the very insight you are now using to look back. Let this affirmation settle deep into your being, into the places within you that still hold contempt for that younger self. You can even say it quietly in your mind as a message sent back through time. That version of you was a survivor, doing their best with what they were given. Repeat it. Feel the truth of it. They were a survivor. They survived the circumstances of their upbringing. They survived the wounds they carried. They survived their own confusion and fear. They survived the consequences of their own mistakes. And their survival was not a small thing. It was an act of incredible, often unconscious resilience. They kept going. They kept breathing. They kept getting up in the morning, even when it was hard. And every single thing they endured, every scar they collected, was part of the intricate process that delivered you safely to this very moment, to this very bed, to this very breath. You are the living, breathing legacy of their survival. When you look back with judgment, you are dishonoring the incredible fight they put up to get you here. When you look back with mercy, you are finally acknowledging the depth of their struggle and the magnitude of their strength. You are finally giving them the credit they have always deserved. Rest in this new understanding. That person was not a problem to be fixed. They were a survivor to be honored. As this feeling of honor for the survivor you once were begins to settle in your heart, it's important to address another layer of this self-judgment. It is the quiet, isolating belief that this struggle is unique to you. The inner judge is a master of isolation. It whispers, "No one else is this flawed. No one else has made a mistake this big. You are uniquely broken." This feeling of being alone in your regret is a significant part of the weight you carry. It creates a sense of separation, not just from your past self, but from all of humanity. So, for this part of our journey, we will zoom out. We will gently lift our gaze from our own personal story and look at the vast, shared landscape of the human experience. I want you to know, in the deepest part of your being, that you are not alone in this. The act of looking back with regret, the cringe, the shame. This is not a sign of your unique failure. It is a universal, unavoidable, and even necessary part of what it means to grow. It is, in fact, a sign that you have grown. Think about it this way. The only way to look back and not see any mistakes is to have never learned anything. If you could look back at the person you were 10 years ago and see no flaws in their thinking or behavior, it would mean that you have not evolved at all in the past decade. The discomfort you feel when you remember your past is the growing pain of your own wisdom. You are judging your past self from a higher vantage point, a place of greater understanding that you only reached because of the path they walked. Your regret is the echo of your own evolution. It's a testament to how far you have come. Every single person who has lived a life of any depth or meaning has a past they have had to make peace with. There is not a wise elder on this planet who does not look back on their younger self with a mixture of tenderness and a gentle shake of the head. The people we admire for their wisdom, their compassion, their grace, they did not arrive there by a path of perfection. They arrived there by navigating their own dark forests, by stumbling, by making messes, and by learning, slowly and often painfully, how to clean them up. They learned kindness by witnessing their own unkindness. They learned forgiveness by needing to be forgiven. They learned wisdom by experiencing the consequences of their own foolishness. Your story is not an outlier. It is a classic. It is the human story. Let yourself feel the truth of this. Imagine all the other people in the world, right now, lying in their beds, just like you. In this very moment, millions upon millions of them are having their own quiet visitations from the past. A successful executive is cringing at the arrogant way he treated people when he was just starting out. A loving grandmother is feeling a pang of regret for a moment of impatience with her child 40 years ago. A respected artist is remembering the jealousy and insecurity that drove them in their youth. From the outside, their lives may look polished and perfect, but on the inside, in the quiet of the night, they are all grappling with the same universal human task, learning to integrate and make peace with all the people they have been along the way. Your shame has been convincing you that you are on a deserted island, but the reality is that you are in a vast ocean, and everyone is in a similar boat, navigating the same currents of growth and regret. This realization does not erase the pain of your specific memories, but it can profoundly lessen the burden of them. It takes the sharp, personal sting of "what is wrong with me?" and softens it into the gentle, shared ache of "this is what it is to be human." Let's use an analogy to help this settle. Imagine that our lives are like a long walk through a vast and varied landscape. When we are children, we start out on a smooth, grassy field, and for a time, the walking is easy. But as we grow, the path leads us into dense woods, across rocky terrains, and through muddy swamps. We are all walking this path. Along the way, we inevitably collect scrapes and scars. We trip on a hidden root and bloody our knee. We get snagged by thorns that leave a long scratch on our arm. We get mud on our clothes. At the moment it happens, it feels terrible. We might feel clumsy, stupid, or angry at ourselves for not being more careful. But as we continue walking, something interesting happens. The scrape on our knee heals into a scar that reminds us to watch our step near tree roots. The scratch on our arm teaches us how to identify and avoid thorny bushes. We learn how to navigate muddy ground with more skill. Eventually, we meet other travelers on the path, and we notice that they have scars too. They have their own stories of tripping, of getting snagged, of falling in the mud. And we realize that these marks are not signs of failure. They are the marks of experience. They are the proof that we have been on a real journey. A person with no scars is a person who has never left the starting field. The wise ones, the ones who know the terrain best, are often the ones with the most scars. They don't hide them in shame. They understand them as the price of their wisdom. Your past mistakes are your scars. They are not ugly blemishes on your character. They are the marks that taught you the way. They are the reminders of the lessons that have made you stronger, more compassionate, and more aware. When you release the belief that you are uniquely flawed for having them, you can begin to see them in a new light. You are part of a vast and ancient fellowship of scar-bearers, of imperfect human beings who are all just trying to find their way. You belong. Your story, with all its messy and beautiful details, belongs to the great tapestry of the human journey. There is a deep peace in this belonging, a profound relief in letting go of the need to be the one perfect person on an imperfect path. Settle into that relief. Let it be a soft blanket for you tonight. You are not alone. You have never been alone in this. We are all walking each other home, scars and all. Now that we have situated our personal story within the larger, shared human experience, let us gently turn our gaze back inward to the intimate relationship between the you of today and the you of yesterday. Here, we encounter a beautiful and profound paradox, one that lies at the very heart of self-forgiveness. It is a truth that, once seen, can fundamentally shift your entire perspective. The paradox is this: the very wisdom you are using to judge your past self is a direct gift from that past self. The clarity you have now, the standards of behavior you now hold, the emotional intelligence you now possess, none of it would exist without the clumsy, painful, mistake-ridden experiences you are judging. You are using a weapon against them that they themselves forged for you. Let's sit with the strangeness of that for a moment. Imagine you are standing on the top of a tall mountain, looking down at a younger version of yourself, struggling in the valley below. From your high vantage point, the path forward is clear. You can see the shortcuts, the dead ends, the dangers to avoid. But how did you get to the top of that mountain? You got there by climbing. You got there by taking the wrong paths in the valley, by hitting those dead ends, by learning from those dangers. The struggling person in the valley is not a separate, flawed being. They are the climber. They are the one doing the hard work of the ascent. Your current perspective is the summit they were climbing toward. When you look back and say, "I should have known better," you are creating a logical impossibility. You are condemning the student for not knowing what only the master has learned. It is like a graduate of a long and difficult medical school looking back at a first-year student fumbling with a basic procedure and feeling contempt for them. The graduate forgets that they were once that fumbling student. They forget that the fumbling is a non-negotiable, essential part of the process of becoming a skilled doctor. The mistakes are the education. There is no other way to learn. Your past self was your first-year student in the school of life. They were learning about love, about loss, about integrity, about boundaries, and the curriculum was not found in books. It was found in lived, messy, and often painful experience. The moments you cringe at were your final exams. And even if you feel you failed them at the time, the very act of taking the test taught you something you could never have learned otherwise. You learned the weight of your words by saying the wrong thing. You learned the value of honesty by experiencing the consequences of a lie. You learned the importance of self-respect by allowing your boundaries to be crossed. These were not failures. They were lessons. And the tuition for this powerful education was your own pain and regret. Here is a gentle reframe to hold in your heart. The wisdom you hold today was forged in the fires of your yesterday. Your compassion, your resilience, your understanding. These are not qualities you were born with. They are qualities that were tempered and shaped in the heat of your most difficult moments. The fire of that embarrassing mistake burned away a layer of your ego and forged a new humility. The fire of that painful heartbreak burned away your naivete and forged a new capacity for emotional depth. The fire of that deep regret burned away your ignorance and forged a new, unshakable clarity about your own values. When you look back with contempt, you are spitting on the very fire that created the gold you now hold. You are dishonoring the alchemy of your own life. You are judging the caterpillar for not being a butterfly, forgetting that the messy, dissolving, transformative darkness of the chrysalis is the only way the butterfly comes to be. That younger you was in the chrysalis. You are the butterfly. To hate the caterpillar is to hate the very process of your own becoming. Let's try a small thought experiment. Bring to mind the wisdom or strength you are most proud of today. Perhaps it is your ability to be a loyal friend, or your deep sense of empathy, or your resilience in the face of adversity. Choose one quality. Now, gently trace it back. Where did you learn that? Really trace it. The loyalty you now offer so freely, did it perhaps grow from a time when you were disloyal or were betrayed and learned the profound value of sticking by someone? The empathy that allows you to connect so deeply with others, did it not grow from the soil of your own suffering, from moments when you felt profoundly misunderstood and alone? The resilience that allows you to get back up after being knocked down, was it not built, brick by brick, from the rubble of every time you fell and thought you could not get up again? If you are truly honest, you will find that your greatest strengths are inextricably linked to your most painful experiences and your most regretted mistakes. They are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. To reject your past is to reject the very source of your present strength. So, the next time the inner judge rises up and begins its familiar litany of "you should have known," you can meet it with a new, quiet wisdom. You can gently respond, "No, I couldn't have known. The person I was then did not have the eyes I have now. And the only reason I have these eyes is because of what they walked through." This is not a trick. It is the simple, compassionate truth. You are not letting your younger self off the hook. You are finally seeing the hook for what it is, an instrument of self-torture that serves no purpose. The learning has already happened. The wisdom has already been gained. The continued punishment is redundant. It's like a teacher continuing to fail a student for an old test long after they have graduated with honors. The purpose of the test has been served. It is time to let it go. Rest in this paradox. Feel the truth of it in your body. Your wisdom and your wounds are not at war. They are partners in the beautiful, messy dance of your own becoming. When you can hold both with reverence, the war within you begins to quiet, and a deep, integrated peace becomes possible. We have now journeyed through several layers of understanding. We have witnessed the inner judge, acknowledged the person you were then, honored their scars, normalized the human experience of regret, and recognized the paradox of wisdom. You have done the gentle work of preparing the ground, and now we arrive at a crucial turning point. The intellectual understanding of these ideas is profoundly helpful, but true release happens on a deeper, more visceral level. It is not enough to think about setting down the burden. You must actually feel yourself setting it down. So, for this part of our journey, we are going to create a safe, internal space where you can finally give yourself permission to lay down the stone of your self-judgment. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, I invite you to use your imagination, your most powerful tool for inner change. Imagine yourself standing in a place that feels utterly safe and peaceful to you. This is your own private sanctuary. It might be a quiet, ancient forest, with sunlight filtering through the leaves and the soft sound of a gentle stream nearby. It could be a secluded beach at twilight, with the waves washing rhythmically against the shore and the sand still warm beneath your feet. Or perhaps it is a cozy, fire-lit room, filled with soft blankets and the scent of old books. Choose the place that feels most like coming home to you. Take a moment to really be there. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the temperature on your skin. This space is sacred, and within it, you are completely safe from all harm and all judgment. Now, in this safe space, I want you to become aware of something you have been carrying. Feel, in your hands, the weight of a large, heavy stone. This stone represents the burden you have been carrying for so long. It is the physical manifestation of all the contempt, all the shame, all the self-reproach related to your past. Feel its density, its rough texture, its coldness against your skin. Acknowledge the sheer effort it has taken to hold on to this for all these years. Feel the strain in your arms, the ache in your back, the tension in your shoulders that comes from perpetually carrying this weight. For a moment, allow yourself to feel the full, undiluted heaviness of it, without resistance. This is what you have been living with. This is the energy that has been draining your life force, coloring your present moments with the shadow of the past. By truly feeling its weight, you also awaken the deep, instinctual desire to finally be free of it. You recognize, on a cellular level, that this is too heavy to carry for one more step. Now, I am going to give you a series of permissions. These are not just words. They are keys to unlock the grip your mind has had on this burden. As you hear each one, let it sink into you, not as an idea, but as a felt reality. First, I give you permission to be imperfect. You are a human being, living a human life, and imperfection is your birthright. You were never meant to be flawless. Your flaws are part of your texture, your story, your beauty. You have permission to have made mistakes, even big ones. These mistakes do not define your worth. They were moments in time, not life sentences. You have permission to have been confused and lost and scared. You were navigating a complex world with incomplete information. It is okay that you did not have all the answers. You still don't, and that is also okay. Most importantly, I give you explicit, unequivocal permission to stop punishing yourself. The punishment has served no purpose. It has not changed the past. It has not made you a better person. It has only caused you to suffer. The debt has been paid many times over through the currency of your own pain. There is nothing left to atone for. The person who made that mistake no longer exists. They have been transformed by time, experience, and the very consequences of that action. To continue punishing them is to punish a ghost. You are the judge, the jury, and the jailer. And right now, you have the power to grant a full pardon. You have the authority to declare the case closed forever. Feel the power in that. You are the only one who can set yourself free. And the time is now. Now, let's return to the analogy of the stone. You are standing in your sacred, safe place. You feel the immense weight of this stone in your hands. You have acknowledged the pain it has caused you. You have given yourself permission to let it go. And now, it is time for the final act of release. In your mind's eye, see yourself take a slow, deliberate step toward the stream, or the ocean, or a deep, soft patch of moss in your forest. Feel the intention solidifying within you. This is it. This is the moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, feel yourself gathering all your strength, all your resolve. And on your exhale, with a sense of profound finality, let the stone go. Open your hands and release it. Watch as it falls away from you. Hear the satisfying thud as it lands on the soft earth, or the deep splash as it sinks into the water, disappearing from sight. It is gone. It is no longer yours to carry. And in the moment of its release, feel the immediate startling lightness. Feel the blood rush back into your hands, tingling with new freedom. Feel your arms, now unburdened, float up almost of their own accord. Feel your shoulders drop, releasing a tension you may have been holding for decades. Feel your spine straighten, as if you have grown an inch taller. Breathe into this new lightness. Breathe into the space where the weight used to be. This is not just an imagined feeling. This is a real, energetic shift. You have laid down an old identity, an old story, an old pattern of self-abuse. And in its place, there is now space. Space for peace. Space for self-compassion. Space for a new way of being with yourself. Do not rush this moment. Linger in this feeling of release. This is the feeling of mercy in action. This is the physical sensation of forgiveness. Let your body memorize this feeling. This is your new truth. The burden is gone. You are light. You are free. Having released the heavy stone of judgment, you may now feel a profound sense of lightness and relief. This is a beautiful and necessary part of the healing process. But often, once that hard, protective layer of anger and contempt is removed, something else is revealed underneath. Something much more tender, much more vulnerable. As you stand in your safe place, feeling the new lightness in your body, I invite you to place a gentle hand over your heart. Breathe softly into this space. The anger you held toward your younger self, the judgment, the shame, these are often secondary emotions. They are like loud, fierce guard dogs, barking to protect a much softer, quieter feeling that lies beneath. That feeling, in its purest form, is grief. There is a deep, often unacknowledged sadness that lies at the root of our self-judgment. And now that the guard dogs have been quieted, we can create a safe space to finally meet this grief with compassion. What is this grief for? It is multifaceted. First, there is the grief for the pain your past actions may have caused to others. It is the natural, healthy sorrow that arises when we recognize we have hurt someone, intentionally or not. This is not guilt, in the toxic, shame-based sense. It is clean pain, the empathetic ache of a heart that is connected to others. Allowing yourself to feel this sadness is not a punishment. It is a testament to your own goodness, your own capacity for love and connection. It is the heart's way of saying, that mattered. They mattered. I wish it had been different. By allowing yourself to feel this clean grief, you honor the connection you had with that person, and you honor the part of you that wishes only well for others. You are not a bad person for making a mistake. You are a good person who is sad about it. There is a world of difference between those two states. Then there is another, perhaps even deeper layer of grief. It is the grief for the pain that was caused to you, the pain that younger self was in. You can grieve for the innocence they lost. You can grieve for the difficult circumstances they had to endure. You can grieve for the loneliness they felt, for the fear they carried, for the love they needed but did not receive. This is not self-pity. It is a profound act of self-compassion. It is you, the wise and loving adult, finally looking back and offering the empathy and sorrow that no one was there to offer them at the time. You are, in a sense, reparenting that younger self by acknowledging the reality of their suffering. You are saying to them, I see how much that hurt. I see how hard that was for you. And I am so sorry you had to go through that. This acknowledgement is a powerful healing balm. It validates their experience and lets them know that their pain was real and that it mattered. And within this grief, there is a very specific, poignant sorrow. It is the grief for all the years you have spent being at war with yourself, the wasted energy, the lost moments of joy, the peace that was stolen by the relentless inner critic. You can feel a gentle sadness for the life force that was diverted into self-flagellation instead of being channeled into creativity, connection, and presence. You can grieve for the harshness with which you have treated yourself, the most constant companion you will ever have. This grief is not about blaming yourself for blaming yourself. It is a tender recognition of the tragedy of that inner conflict, a quiet mourning for the internal peace you have longed for. Feeling this sadness is what allows the war to finally end. It is the heart breaking open with compassion for its own long struggle. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of this process is allowing the uncried tears of that younger self to finally be felt and released. That person you were, when they made that mistake, when they were in that pain, did they have a safe space to cry? Did they have someone to hold them and tell them it was going to be okay? Or did they have to swallow their tears, put on a brave face, and just keep going? For many of us, our most painful moments were also our most isolating. We had to soldier on, burying the grief and fear deep inside. Those unshed tears do not just disappear. They are stored in the body, held as tension in the muscles, as a tightness in the chest, as a lump in the throat. Tonight, in the safety of this space you have created, you can finally allow those old tears to flow. You don't need to force anything. Simply hold the intention to release. You can imagine your heart as a gentle spring, and you are simply giving it permission to flow freely. If tears come, let them. They are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of release. They are a liquidation of old pain. Each tear that falls is a prayer of healing, washing away years of stored-up sorrow. Let them be a river that carries the old pain away, leaving behind clean, fertile ground where new growth can occur. If tears don't come, that is perfectly okay too. The release can happen as a deep sigh, a trembling in the body, or just a quiet, internal softening. The form doesn't matter. The intention is everything. This release of grief is not a step backward. It is not wallowing in the past. It is the essential process that creates space for true healing to begin. Anger and judgment are like a hard, frozen crust of ice over a lake. Grief is the thaw. It is the moment the ice begins to melt, allowing the water of life to flow again. It is in this tender, vulnerable, thawed-out state that true transformation can happen. By daring to touch your own sorrow with compassion, you are demonstrating a profound level of emotional courage and maturity. You are showing up for yourself in the way that younger you always needed someone to. You are becoming your own healer. So rest here for a moment in this tender space. Let your breath be soft. Let your heart be open. There's nothing to fix, nothing to solve. There's only this gentle, compassionate holding of the sorrow that has been waiting so long to be seen. This is the quiet work of the soul. Having moved through the release of judgment and the tender acknowledgement of grief, a new space has been created within you. The old, hardened ground has been softened by the waters of compassion. The throne of the inner judge, once so imposing and absolute, now sits empty. This emptiness is not a void to be feared. It is a space of pure potential. It is an invitation to consciously choose who will occupy that seat of power within your inner world from now on. For so long, the dominant relationship you've had with your past self has been that of a judge to a criminal. It is a relationship based on power, punishment, and separation. But this is not the only way. Tonight, we will consciously and intentionally invite a profound shift in your inner role. We will help you transition from the harsh, unforgiving judge to the loving, wise guardian that your younger self was always searching for, always needed. This is not just a change in thought. It is a fundamental change in your identity and your function within your own psyche. First, let's fully understand the role of a guardian. A guardian's primary impulse is not to condemn, but to protect. A guardian does not look at a vulnerable child and see their flaws. They see their preciousness and their need for safety. A guardian's wisdom is not used as a weapon to prove how much better they are, but as a light to illuminate the path and a shield to ward off harm. A guardian's strength is not used to overpower, but to provide a steady, reliable presence, a safe harbor in a storm. Can you feel the difference in energy between a judge and a guardian? The judge creates fear and contraction. The guardian creates safety and expansion. The judge demands perfection. The guardian offers unconditional acceptance. You have already tasted this guardian energy in the last few stages of our journey, in the compassion you felt, in the mercy you extended. Now, we are simply making it your new, official, chosen role. From this new position, as the gentle guardian of your own inner world, your job description changes completely. Your job is no longer to punish the past. The past cannot be punished. It can only be understood and integrated. Your new, sacred job is to protect and heal the past with your present wisdom. What does this mean in a practical sense? It means that when a painful memory of that younger self arises, your new instinct is not to cringe and turn away in shame. Your new instinct is to turn toward critic, to envelop it with your warm, protective, guardian energy. It's like seeing a small child fall and scrape their knee. your first impulse isn't to scold them for being clumsy. It's to rush to their side, to hold them, to soothe their tears, and to gently clean the wound. You are now doing this for the wounded parts of your own history. You are turning toward the memory and whispering, "Oh, sweetheart, that was such a hard moment. I'm here with you now. You're not alone in this memory anymore. I've got you." This shift changes everything. The past is no longer a source of ambush, a ghost that can jump out and haunt you in the quiet of the night. Instead, your memories become opportunities to practice your new role. Each time a difficult memory surfaces, it is simply a younger part of you knocking on the door of your heart, asking for the love and understanding it never received at the time. As the guardian, you can now open that door without fear. You can welcome that memory in, sit with it, and offer it the one thing it needs to heal: your calm, loving, non-judgmental presence. You are using your present-day strength to go back and mend the broken places in your own timeline. You are not changing what happened, but you are radically changing the emotional charge that it holds. You are infusing the darkness of the past with the light of your present consciousness. Over time, as you practice this, the memories lose their power to cause you pain. They are no longer landmines. They become memorials, quiet, peaceful places in your inner landscape that you can visit with tenderness and respect for the journey it took to get you here. Let this powerful affirmation sink deep into the core of your being. Let it become the new foundation of your relationship with yourself. You are now the safe harbor that your younger self was always searching for. Feel the profound truth and responsibility in these words. That scared, confused, lonely person from your past. They were out on a stormy sea, tossed by waves of fear and insecurity, looking desperately for a light, for a shore, for a place to rest and feel safe. They never found it out there, in the world. But the journey they took, the storms they weathered, led them to you. You, with your wisdom, your compassion, your strength, have become the harbor. You are the calm waters. You are the sturdy dock. You are the warm light in the window. All the safety they were seeking externally, you can now provide internally. They don't need to search anymore. They are finally home. This is the ultimate fulfillment of your journey. You are no longer fragmented, with one part of you at war with another. You are becoming a unified, integrated whole. The wise adult self does not reject the wounded inner child. It embraces it. It takes on the sacred duty of becoming its loving protector and guide. This is the essence of self-love. It is not a fluffy, abstract concept. It is the active, conscious choice to be a kind and steady guardian for all the parts of yourself, especially the ones that feel the most broken or ashamed. So take a moment now, in the quiet, to formally accept this role. You can say it in your mind, a silent vow made in the sanctuary of your own heart. I release the role of the judge. I now step into my true role as the gentle guardian of my own heart and history. From this day forward, I vow to meet my past with compassion, to protect my inner world with love, and to be the safe harbor I have always been seeking. Feel the quiet dignity of this commitment. This is a homecoming. This is the beginning of a true and lasting inner peace. Having accepted your new role as the gentle guardian, we can now prepare for the most sacred part of our journey tonight. We are going to facilitate a meeting, not in the external world, but in the safe and limitless landscape of your own heart and mind. The intellectual shifts and emotional releases you have experienced have all been leading to this moment, a direct, compassionate encounter between the you of today and the you of your past. This is where the deepest healing occurs, in the quiet space of unconditional presence. So, let your body relax even more deeply. Let your breath be your anchor, a soft, steady rhythm that tells your nervous system it is safe to open, safe to feel. And now, let us once again call upon the power of your imagination. I want you to visualize that peaceful, safe place we visited earlier, that quiet forest, that gentle shore, that cozy firelit room. Let the details become vivid again. See it, feel it, inhabit it. This is your sacred meeting place, a space held outside of time, where the laws of judgment and shame do not apply. Here, only the law of love prevails. You are standing or sitting comfortably in this beautiful place, feeling grounded, calm, and centered in your role as the wise guardian. Your heart is open. Your energy is warm and inviting. There is no agenda here, no need to fix or change anything. Your only purpose is to be a loving presence. Now, from a distance, you see a figure approaching. As they draw closer, you recognize them. It is that younger version of yourself, the one you have been judging for so long, the one who made the mistake, the one who was in so much pain. See them clearly. How old are they? See the clothes they are wearing, the look on their face. Notice how they are walking. Are they approaching you with confidence and defiance? Or is there a hesitation in their step? For most of us, this younger self does not approach with anger. They approach with a profound nervousness, a deep-seated fear of judgment, because that is all they have ever known from you. Their shoulders may be slumped. Their eyes may be cast downward, afraid to meet your gaze. In their energy field, you can feel a mixture of emotions, a flicker of hope that this time might be different, overshadowed by a lifetime of bracing for your usual criticism and contempt. They are vulnerable, and they are deeply uncertain about what is about to happen. This is the critical moment. Your old habit, the habit of the judge, would be to immediately start talking, to point out what they did wrong, to demand an explanation or an apology. But the guardian does none of these things. Your only role here, in these first precious moments of connection, is to offer a presence of unconditional acceptance. So, you remain silent. You simply watch them approach, and you let your heart fill with the compassion and understanding we have been cultivating. You breathe. You soften. You send them a silent wave of welcome, an energetic message that says, "It's okay. You are safe here. I am not going to hurt you." Let your own face be gentle. Let your posture be relaxed and open. Uncross your arms. Unclench your jaw. Let your very presence be a beacon of safety. As they come to a stop a few feet away from you, they may still be hesitant to look at you directly. That is okay. Do not force anything. Just give them space. Let them feel the new quality of your energy. Let them sense, perhaps for the very first time, that you are not here to attack them. Your silence is the most powerful gift you can give them right now. It is a silence that is not empty or awkward, but filled with a rich, palpable love. It is the silence of a grandparent watching a beloved grandchild, a silence that holds all the words of love without needing to speak them. It is a silence that communicates, "I see you, I am here with you, and I am not going anywhere." In this shared silence, something miraculous begins to happen. The younger self, feeling the absence of the expected attack, may begin to relax just a little. They might risk a quick glance up at you, trying to read your expression. And when they see not the familiar glare of contempt, but a soft look of gentle acceptance, their own guarded heart may begin to crack open just a tiny bit. They have been living in an internal winter for so long, and your warm presence is like the first rays of spring sun, beginning to melt the ice of their fear and shame. Remain in this silent welcome for as long as it takes. This is their moment. You are giving them the time and space they need to feel safe enough to be present with you. There is no rush. You have all the time in the world. This is the holy ground of healing. You are simply holding space. You are being the calm, sturdy oak tree that the frightened sapling can lean against. You are being the quiet, deep ocean that can hold all the turmoil of their inner storms without being disturbed. This act of silent, unconditional welcome is perhaps the most profound form of mercy you can offer. Before any words are spoken, before any forgiveness is exchanged, you are offering the foundational gift of acceptance. You are communicating on the deepest possible level that their very being is welcome in your presence, that they do not have to perform or apologize or change in order to be worthy of your love. They are worthy simply because they are a part of you. Hold this scene. Stay with this feeling. The guardian and the child, together in a sacred space, surrounded by a silence that is more healing than any words could ever be. This is the beginning of their journey home. And you are the one who has finally, lovingly opened the door. You are in your sacred meeting place. Before you stands your younger self, nervous and hopeful, bathed in the warm, welcoming silence of your unconditional presence. You have given them the gift of safety. You have allowed them to feel, perhaps for the first time, that they will not be attacked. Their posture has softened. Their gaze, once downcast, may now be willing to meet yours. The field of energy between you is no longer charged with fear, but with a quiet, sacred anticipation. Now, and only now, that this foundation of safety has been established, is it time to offer another gift. It is time to speak the words they have been waiting a lifetime to hear from you. These words are not complicated. They are not grand speeches. They are simple, direct, and from the heart. They are the truth. As you look into their eyes, the very same eyes that look back at you from the mirror, let your voice, whether spoken aloud in a whisper or just silently in your mind, be infused with the gentle, steady warmth of the guardian you have become. First, you offer the gift of being seen. You say to them, simply and clearly, "I see you." Let them feel the depth of that statement. It does not mean, "I see what you did wrong." It means, "I see all of you. I see your fear. I see your confusion. I see your pain. I see your goodness and your light, even when you couldn't see it yourself. I see the whole context, not just the one moment you are ashamed of. You are no longer invisible to me. I see you." Feel the resonance of these words as they land in their heart. For a part of us that has felt defined by a single action, to be seen in our totality is a profound liberation. It is to be released from the prison of a single story. Next, you offer the gift of understanding. You say, "I understand." Again, feel the immense power in this simple phrase. It is not, "I agree with what you did," or "I condone your actions." It is deeper than that. It is, "I understand why you did what you did. I understand the pain you were in. I understand the limited tools you had. I understand the pressures you were under. Knowing what I know now, looking back with the wisdom you earned for me, I finally understand your struggle. I am no longer judging you from my high tower. I am down here with you, in the forest, and I understand how dark and confusing it was. This is the gift of validation. It is the end of their isolation. It tells them that they were not crazy, or stupid, or inherently bad. They were a human being in a difficult situation, responding in a human way. And then, you speak the words that directly address their deepest fear, the core belief of their shame. You look at them with unwavering kindness, and you say, "You did the best you could." Let this be a definitive statement, spoken with the full authority of your present-day wisdom. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. You did the best you could with the emotional resources you had. You did the best you could with the wounds you were carrying. It may not have been the absolute best that was objectively possible, but it was the best you were capable of in that moment. And that is enough. It has always been enough. These words are a balm on their oldest wound. It is the absolution they could never give themselves, the permission slip to finally stop striving to have been someone they weren't, and to accept the reality of who they were. Now, with this foundation of seeing, understanding, and acceptance laid, you are ready to offer the most profound and healing gift of all. This is the act that will seal this new relationship and dissolve the final remnants of the old war. You are going to extend the gift of forgiveness. Take a gentle breath. Look at this younger you, this part of your own soul that has been living in exile, and from the deepest, most sincere place in your heart, you say the words, "I forgive you." Feel the energy of that declaration. Feel it as a wave of cleansing light that flows from your heart to theirs. Let the forgiveness be absolute. I forgive you for not knowing what you had not yet learned. I forgive you for your mistakes, for your clumsiness, for the ways you hurt yourself and others out of your own pain. I forgive you completely and unconditionally. The debt is canceled. The slate is clean. And then you add the words of reunion, the words that end the separation forever. You say, "We are okay now. The war is over. You and I, we are at peace." And finally, you give them the one thing they have been seeking through all their struggles, all their striving. You give them permission to rest. You can rest now. You don't have to carry this shame anymore. You don't have to keep replaying it. You can finally put it down. You are safe. You are loved. You are forgiven. You can rest. As you speak these final words, feel the energetic shift that occurs between you. It may be subtle, or it may be a great shuddering wave of relief. Feel that forgiveness as it is received by them. Watch as the tension finally leaves their body. See the years of fear and shame melt away from their face, revealing the innocent, pure essence that was always underneath. See the light return to their eyes. This is a holy moment of reunification. It is the end of your inner civil war. The two of you, once adversaries, are now allies, united in a bond of compassion and love. This is not just an imagined scene. You are repatterning your own neural pathways. You are creating a new emotional truth, a new memory that will now live alongside the old one, transforming it forever. Linger here. Savor this feeling of profound release, this deep peace of a soul finally coming home to itself. This is the work. This is the healing. You have done it. You are doing it now. In the sacred stillness of your meeting place, you stand with your younger self, bathed in the profound peace of forgiveness. The air between you is clear now, filled not with the static of old resentments, but with the gentle hum of reunion and love. The most difficult work is done. But before we complete this healing encounter, there is one final, crucial piece of acknowledgement to offer. Forgiveness, in its deepest sense, is not just about letting go of the negative. It is also about embracing the positive. It is about recognizing the whole truth of the past, not just the painful parts. And the truth is, that younger self, the one you have just forgiven, is not only a source of past pain. They are also, and perhaps more importantly, the source of your present strength. So now, as you look at them, standing before you in this new light of acceptance, let your perspective shift once more. Move beyond just forgiving their perceived weaknesses and begin to actively honor their incredible, often overlooked strengths. Acknowledge the immense strength it took for that younger self to survive and to ultimately bring you to this very moment of healing. Look at them and see not a collection of mistakes, but a testament to endurance. Think about what they actually went through, the family dynamics they had to navigate, the societal pressures they faced, the personal heartbreaks they endured, the fears, both spoken and unspoken, that they lived with every single day. They may not have handled it all with perfect grace, no one does. But the undeniable fact is, they handled it. They got through it. They woke up each morning and faced another day, even when they were exhausted, even when they were terrified, even when they felt completely alone. That is not weakness. That is the very definition of resilience. See them now, not as a fragile, broken thing, but as a young warrior who fought battles you can now only dimly recall, and who won the only victory that ever truly matters. They survived. You are the living proof of their survival. Every breath you take today is a testament to their tenacity. The wisdom you hold, the compassion you've cultivated, the very capacity you have to be here, now, doing this healing work. All of it is built upon the foundation they laid. They walked through the fire so that you could learn the nature of heat. They stumbled in the darkness so that you could learn to appreciate the light. They carried the heavy stones of their experience so that you could learn how to build a fortress of wisdom. There is a direct, unbroken line of resilience that connects the two of you across time. You are not two separate people. You are 2 points on the same continuum of a single, resilient soul. When you honor their strength, you are honoring the very roots of your own. You are acknowledging that the strongest branches of a tree cannot exist without the deep, gnarled, and often hidden roots that anchor it to the earth. That younger you is your root system. To judge them is to saw off the very source of your own stability. To honor them is to draw nourishment and strength from the deepest parts of your own history. Let this affirmation settle into your heart, weaving the story of your past and present into a single, cohesive whole. Your past does not define you. It has only informed the wise and compassionate person you are becoming. Feel the liberation in this. You are not chained to the past. You are not defined by the worst thing you ever did. That action, that period of your life, is not the title of your book. It is simply a chapter. A difficult chapter, perhaps. A pivotal chapter, most certainly. But it is not the whole story. The story is still being written by you, right now. And every difficult chapter that came before has only added depth, nuance, and richness to the character you are today. The compassion you now feel for others, It was informed by the times you acted without compassion and learned its value. The wisdom you now have about relationships. It was informed by the times you navigated them clumsily. You are not the person you are today in spite of your past. You are the person you are today because of it. The past was the soil, rocky and difficult at times, yes, but it was the very soil from which your present self has grown. This understanding allows you to finally see your life not as a story of shame and regret, but as a story of triumph. The triumph is not that you were perfect. The triumph is that you were imperfect and you kept going. The triumph is that you fell and you learned how to get back up, perhaps a little wiser, a little humbler, a little kinder. This is a much more interesting and a much more heroic story to tell. So, in this final moment of your meeting, let this be your closing message to that younger self. Look at them and let them see the genuine respect and admiration in your eyes. You can say to them, "Thank you. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for carrying on, even when it was impossibly hard. Thank you for every lesson you learned for us. The journey you took was not easy, but you did it. And because you did it, I am here. Your survival was your greatest gift to me, and I will honor that gift by living the most beautiful, whole, and compassionate life I can." Feel the rightness of these words. Feel the circle of healing as it closes. You have moved from judgment to mercy to forgiveness, and now, finally, to gratitude. The relationship is complete. It is whole. It is healed. In the wake of this profound gratitude, a final and beautiful transformation is now possible. You have met your younger self, offered them the healing words they longed to hear, and honored the incredible strength that carried them and you to this present moment. The separation is over. The war has ended. The gratitude has been expressed. Now, it is time for them to truly come home. As you stand together in your sacred, peaceful place, a new light begins to emanate from your own heart center. It is a warm, golden, and incredibly gentle light. It is the light of your full, integrated adult self, the light of the guardian. It pulses with love, wisdom, and unconditional acceptance. Your younger self sees this light. They feel its pull. It is the safe harbor they have been searching for their entire life. They are no longer afraid of you. They trust you. They know, on a soul level, that you are their true home. Now, gently and lovingly, open your arms. This is not a demand, but a soft, open invitation. It is a gesture that says, "You belong with me. There is a place for you here, inside my heart." Watch as your younger self, without any hesitation now, steps forward and moves into your embrace. As they do, something magical happens. They do not remain a separate entity that you are merely hugging. Instead, as they merge with your body, they begin to dissolve, transforming into pure, golden light, the very same light that emanates from your own heart. Gently visualize this younger self, this source of so much past pain and present strength, integrating back into your heart. They are not being erased or absorbed in a way that negates them. Rather, they are being integrated. They are taking their rightful place within the wholeness of your being, not as a memory of shame, but as a foundational and honored part of who you are. Feel this integration on a deep cellular level. It is a feeling of profound homecoming. The lost part has been found. The exile has returned. The fragmentation is over. With this integration, you can now feel a new sense of wholeness and inner peace settling over you. A peace that is deeper and more stable than any you have felt before. Why? Because the civil war within is over. Think of the immense amount of life energy that has been consumed by this internal conflict for years, perhaps for decades. The energy it took to suppress the painful memories. The energy it took to fuel the inner judge's constant criticism. The energy it took to manage the shame and anxiety that arose from this conflict. It was like having a nation's entire budget diverted to a pointless war, leaving little for infrastructure, education, or culture. For years, your inner resources have been drained by this battle. But now, a peace treaty has been signed. Not only that, the two warring factions have realized they were always on the same side, always part of the same whole. And now, all of that energy, all of those resources that were locked up in the conflict are liberated. They are now available to you, for you, to be used for healing, for growth, for creativity, for joy, for presence. Feel this new energy coursing through you. It is a quiet, steady strength. It is a calm, centered presence. The frantic, anxious energy of self-judgment has been replaced by the calm, loving energy of the guardian. You may feel a new sense of solidity in your own core. You are no longer divided against yourself. You are one unified being. The past is no longer a place of haunting. It is no longer a landscape filled with ghosts and landmines that you have to navigate with fear and trepidation. With your younger self now safely integrated into your heart, the past is transformed. It becomes a settled and peaceful part of your complete story. It is like an old, beautifully illustrated book on a shelf in your library. You can take it down whenever you wish, turn the pages, and read a passage. You can look at the difficult chapters with compassion and understanding for the character who lived them. You can look at the joyful chapters with fondness. But the story no longer has the power to leap off the page and pull you back into the drama. You are the calm, wise librarian now, not the frightened character trapped in the plot. You are the curator of your own history, and you have chosen to curate it with love. Take a few moments to simply rest in this feeling of wholeness. Breathe it in. Let it settle into your bones. This is your natural state. The state of inner conflict was the aberration. This peace is your birthright. It may feel unfamiliar at first, this quiet. The absence of the inner critic's voice can feel as strange as the silence after a noisy machine has been turned off. Let yourself get used to it. This is the sound of your own soul at peace. This is the feeling of being truly at home in your own skin, in your own life, in your own history. Your past is not a source of shame. It is the foundation upon which the beautiful house of your present self is built. And now, you have finally repaired the cracks in that foundation, not by hiding them, but by filling them with the gold of your own compassion. The work you have done tonight is not a temporary fix. It is a deep and lasting realignment of your relationship with yourself. You have changed the story. And by changing the story, you have changed everything. Rest in this new story, the story of a wise guardian who finally brought a lost child home. And so, the journey inward reaches its gentle conclusion. The meeting is complete. The forgiveness has been given and received. The lost part of you has been welcomed home, integrated into your heart, not as a wound, but as a source of foundational strength. There is a deep and profound sense of completion. And with that completion comes a simple, beautiful truth for this moment, right now. The work is done. Let that sink in. The work is done. There is nothing left to analyze tonight. There are no more memories to dissect, no more angles to consider, no more problems to solve. You have done the deep, sacred work of the soul, and now comes the equally sacred and necessary part of the process: rest. True healing doesn't happen in the moments of intense emotional processing. It happens in the quiet moments of integration that follow. It happens when the nervous system, having been activated by the journey, is finally given the space and permission to settle into a deep and restorative peace. It happens during sleep. So your only task now is to receive the gift of peace you have so beautifully created for yourself. Begin to bring your awareness back to the simple, physical reality of your body, lying here, ready for sleep. Notice the quality of the energy in your body now, compared to when we began. Feel the deep physical relaxation that naturally arises when the mind finally lets go of an old, exhausting battle. It is as if a muscle you have been clenching for 20, 30, or even 40 years has finally been allowed to release. Feel that release now. Feel it in your jaw, which may have softened. Feel it in your shoulders, which may feel heavier, sinking more deeply into the surface beneath you. Feel it in your stomach, where the knot of anxiety has uncoiled, replaced by a gentle warmth. Feel it in your chest, around your heart, where the armor has dissolved, leaving a feeling of open, peaceful spaciousness. Your body, that wise and faithful temple, has been holding the tension of this inner war for so long. And tonight, you have given it the signal that the war is over. You have told it that it is safe to stand down the guard, to lower the defenses, and to enter into a state of profound rest and repair. Every cell in your body is listening to this new message of peace. Every nerve ending is sighing in relief. The constant, low-grade stress hormones that were fueled by self-criticism are receding, and in their place, the gentle, healing hormones of safety and relaxation can now flow freely. This is not just a psychological shift, it is a deep physiological one. The peace you have made in your mind is now rippling through every system in your body, inviting it to heal, to regenerate, to restore itself in a way that was not possible when it was in a state of high alert. This is the deep magic of self-compassion. It is not merely a nice idea. It is a powerful medicine for both the mind and the body. And your only task now is to allow this medicine to do its work. You do not have to strive for it or try to make it happen. You simply have to allow it. You have to get out of your own way and let your body's innate wisdom take over. It knows how to heal. It knows how to rest. All it needed was your permission. All it needed was for the inner conflict to cease. As you lie here, on the edge of sleep, let your focus be simple. Return to the gentle rhythm of your breath. Feel the soft rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. Each breath is a wave of peace, washing over you. With every inhale, you can imagine you are breathing in this new sense of wholeness, this gentle calm. And with every exhale, you can let go of any last, lingering remnants of tension, any final vestiges of the old story. Breathing in peace, breathing out release. There is nothing else to do, nothing to think about. The mind, which has been so active, can now become soft and quiet, like a calm lake at dusk. If thoughts arise, as they naturally will, you don't need to fight them or follow them. You can just let them drift by like clouds in the vast, peaceful sky of your awareness. They are no longer a threat. The judge has been retired. The guardian is on watch, and the guardian's only instruction for tonight is to allow you the deep, profound rest you so deeply deserve. You have given yourself an incredible gift tonight, the gift of mercy, the gift of peace, the gift of coming home. Now your final task is simply to receive that gift fully. Let go of the doer, the thinker, the analyzer, and simply become the receiver. Receive the comfort of your bed. Receive the quiet of the room. Receive the gentle pull of sleep as it begins to draw you downward into its soft, healing embrace. You have made yourself a safe harbor, and now it is time for the ship to finally come to port, to drop anchor, and to rest in the calm, still waters you have created. There is no need to navigate anymore tonight. The journey is complete. Rest now. You have earned it. Sleep is coming now. Feel it as a gentle presence at the edges of your awareness, a soft blanket of peace being drawn up over you. There's no need to reach for it. Simply allow it to arrive in its own time. You are whole now. All the parts of you, all the people you have been, are finally at peace, finally home, resting together in the quiet sanctuary of your heart. The guardian is watching over you. The forgiven child is sleeping soundly within you. You are safe. Every breath you take is a gentle rocking, lulling you deeper and deeper into tranquility. Just let go. Isn't it a strange and beautiful thing, this human life? We are given this one precious journey, and for so much of it, we believe our primary task is to become perfect, to erase our flaws, to hide our scars. We spend years, decades even, at war with our own history, believing that if we could just amputate the parts of our story we are ashamed of, we could finally be whole. But what if the journey was never about perfection at all? What if it was always about integration? What if the goal was never to become a flawless statue, but to become a beautiful mosaic, made whole not in spite of the broken pieces, but because of them? What if every single piece, especially the ones we once saw as dark or ugly, was essential to the breathtaking pattern of the whole? Tonight, you have taken your broken pieces, and instead of hiding them, you have filled the cracks with gold. You have practiced the ancient art of kintsugi on your own soul. You have honored the breaks. You have recognized that the object, the soul, is more beautiful and more resilient for having been broken and repaired with love. This is the profound alchemy of mercy. It does not pretend the cracks aren't there. It illuminates them. It transforms them from sources of shame into symbols of strength. The story of your life is not diminished by its difficult chapters. It is made richer, deeper, and infinitely more compassionate because of them. As you drift now, on the gentle currents of approaching sleep, consider this. The universe does not create flawless things. It creates things that grow, that change, that adapt. A star is born from a cloud of chaotic dust and gas. A diamond is formed under immense, crushing pressure. A great tree becomes strong by pushing against the resistance of the wind. The flaws, the pressures, the resistances, they are not obstacles to beauty and strength. They are the very agents of it. And so, it is with you. Your perfection is not in your flawlessness, but in your wholeness, in your courage to embrace all that you have been, all that you are, and all that you are becoming. Let the rhythm of your breath be the only thing you are aware of now, a soft, easy, gentle wave, rising and falling. The body knows what to do. The mind can rest. The heart is at peace. Sleep is coming now, a soft blanket of peace, a gentle tide, pulling you out into a deep, calm ocean of rest. You are whole. You are safe. You are loved. Just let go. There's nothing more to understand, nothing more to figure out. The answers you were seeking were not in your mind. They were in your heart. They were not found in judgment, but in compassion. The peace you have been longing for was not something to be found outside of you, but something to be created within. And you have created it. You have become your own sanctuary. You can rest now, because all of you is finally at peace, finally home. Sleep deeply now. Rest well. You are completely and utterly at peace. Sleep now. Sleep